Ambassador Thestius of the Vash-2 Directorate, discoverer of humanity, accidental saviour of the galaxy, eternal sufferer of council idiocy, and devoted viewer of human YouTuber Chapter Master Valrak, liked to think he was a patient being. He had endured wars, plagues, invasions, philosophical movements, and once an entire 4 hours in a karaoke bar in Manchester. To put it frankly, he was used to dealing with idiots. But nothing tested his patience like introductions to new species. Some were outright xenophobic and hostile, others were smug and condescending, until he discovered humans. Thestius discovered Earth purely by accident on a little holiday in the dead zone of the Orion Arm. He realized almost immediately that he was starting to lose his sanity. Humanity, he quickly learned, was a species that had split the atom twice just to see if the second time was funnier, created the internet and immediately filled it with memes and porn, explaining why American football is called baby rugby by everyone except Americans, developed a fictional universe so grimdark that several alien species needed therapy after reading the wiki. And humanity's crown jewel, its philosopher and king of law, was an aging and balding YouTuber named Chapter Master Valrak. Thestius adored him immediately. His quaint falling off a roof story that had spawned a drinking game, which had actually killed people, his half-hearted denials of working for Games Workshop despite being on their board, and his hilarious claims to being blacklisted, all added to his naive, childlike charm. Thestius binge-watched hundreds of hours, even though human Warhammer lore counted as psychological torture under 6 interstellar conventions. But the heart wants what it wants, and so Thestius sponsored humanity for council admission. This proved to be the single most consequential blunder in galactic history. Humans joined the council with an enthusiasm never before seen. Almost instantly, chaos erupted. The council's daily schedule, once filled with dull but important matters like border conflict negotiations and quantum trade disputes, was now filled with emergency karaoke restriction hearings, investigation into human use of ancient relic as a cup holder, petition, ban humanity from helping with anything ever, cultural misunderstanding section number 88, why you do not pat the Halun on the head. But then something strange happened. Wars stopped completely. Civil disputes died down and races got on together. Whole sectors forgot their ancient hatreds as they instead cooperatively filed human-related grievances. Humanity, through sheer oblivious chaos, had become the linchpin of galactic peace. They weren't diplomats, nor were they warriors. They were strategic distractions. The Council officially classified them as Species 405C, useful idiots, critical to galactic stability. And life was good. The galaxy prospered like never before. Then, human ambassador Jennifer Patel declared one morning in the Galactic Council chamber, "Humanity will now strive to fit in and behave responsibly." It was the single most alarming sentence ever spoken in the council chamber that left many a diplomat stunned into silence. Within a week, no karaoke complaints, no accidental extra-dimensional breaches, no teaching alien children the NSW Rugby League rules, no science experiments labelled probably fine, no cultural misunderstandings requiring 17 apologies and a fruit basket. The complaint docket emptied and ambassadors milled about in confusion. They had nothing to do. And the galaxy immediately began tearing itself apart. Ancient wars reawakened. Trade federations collapsed. Civil wars reignited. 4 financial systems crashed after having time to actually check their books. The Galactic Council panicked, and a desperate delegation, led by Thestius, burst into the human embassy. "Humans," he cried, "you must stop improving yourselves." Patel blinked. "We thought you wanted fewer incidents." "We don't," Thestius wailed. "Your chaos is the glue holding civilization together." A Halun delegate bowed, melodramatic in every fold of their mantle. "You must return to your natural cultural state. Insane, stupid, or preferably both." Patel raised an eyebrow. "So you want us to go back to how we were?" The council screamed in unison, "Yes!" The next day, a human scientist accidentally invented reverse coffee and briefly unaged a Klarnaxi ambassador. Someone mixed vodka with a quantum battery. Space was sticky for hours. A wormhole was opened to a dimension made entirely of sentient bread. And the Vorak requested a fourth ban on baby rugby, as wearing pads is gay. The docket filled. War talk vanished. The galaxy stabilized. Peace. Stupid, pointless, structurally idiotic peace returned. Theseus, relieved that reality wasn't collapsing, finally returned to what truly mattered. Watching his beloved chapter master Valrak, he wiped away a tear as he remembers how the universe had been unkind to the beloved human lawmaster. Centuries earlier, Valrak had been at the top of his game, scamming millions from unsuspecting lore fans, and then, as all things do, his downfall. Tragically and suspiciously, he was converted into a servo skull by one of his less-than-loyal followers, a fan known only as Daka. Daka claimed Valrak had ascended into peak lore delivery form. But Games Workshop claimed this was unlicensed copyright infringement and sued Valrak for millions. Valrak himself, now a floating skull with a GoPro and a backpack of battery packs, simply resigned himself to his fate and said, "Alright lads, we're going to break down these new leaks." Daka kept Servo Skull Valrak as a toy for enrichment purposes, until a landmark ruling in the 24th century Terran Supreme Court determined Servo Skull Valrak is barely intelligent and only passes for sentience in the broadest sense and legally permitted to continue making videos. He was freed, plugged into a charger and started to immediately resume uploading videos to an unsuspecting galaxy. Theseus watched all of it with reverence. And now, at last, after restoring the galaxy's equilibrium through diplomatic begging, he dimmed his lights, made a pot of Varandi blooming tea, and turned on the newest upload. "The law has changed again, lads! 25th century Mega Ultramarines update!" Servo Skull Valrak floated on screen, humming as his servos whirred. Theseus' heart's filled with joy. Finally he had peace. Humanity, proudly stupid and gloriously chaotic, had once again saved the galaxy. And Theseus could sit back and watch his favourite skull-shaped YouTuber in bliss.